What is it, my friends? I don't know. Where do we even start? Servant season finale. My goodness. I told y'all we weren't gonna get answers to a lot of things. I told y'all we weren't gonna get the answers to a lot of things, but we got some answers, and that's a good thing, right? So, what we do learn is Leanne's past. What we don't learn, however, is what exactly was going on with Jericho. Was it a kid going on that Leanne brought, or was it actually a supernatural thing? So, let's just go on with Leanne's past. So, we finally get to meet the infamous Aunt May that Uncle George was talking about, and she is pretty much weird, I would say. So during Jericho's baptism, we finally see Aunt May and Uncle George show up to the party. Even though Julian is trying his best to keep them out, they manage to get in. Uncle George has a sort of plea with Sean, as they both sort of like have a one-to-one, like Dr. Phil, I would say psychology, therapy, whatever you want to call it, that they had, where we pretty much figure that Sean has a lot of guilt, but we don't know what that guilt is of yet. And it's going to be interesting to see exactly what that is. He starts to tell him about how pretty much all these bad things have started to happen to Sean ever since Leanne came. Like him having the splinters, not being able to taste, and by the end of the season, not being able to feel anything. And it's pretty interesting to note that we don't really know much about how it impacted Sean or what else was going on in the lives. It's pretty much just revolved around what's been going on with Dorothy. So I think that'd be an interesting thing to sort of revolve around season 2, is exactly where is Sean's headspace during the time Jericho died and before and after. So I thought that was an interesting aspect of the season finale as well. But we also start to see Dorothy kind of crack. She's starting to sort of realize that I don't think that's actually my son. My son died, and she does have little flashbacks, little wee awakening moments, I would say, especially when the little girl is with the doll, and she's pretty much like, why does this feel oddly familiar? But I think the biggest moment comes to her realization when the police show up looking for a missing child, and she's like, wait, am I holding that missing child because Jericho is dead? Like, you see it in her expression, Sean as well. And let me tell you, as a viewer, that was one of the most, like, what the fuck moments. I was like, Uncle George and Aunt May, fucking bitches, called the police and told them about it. But it turns out they were looking for the girl that Dorothy had interacted before with the doll. She was the missing child. So we were pretty much like a sigh of relief there with Sean and Dorothy and Leanne as well. And then we also learn Leanne's backstory. As I said, Leanne's backstory was pretty much the main thing about this whole finale episode, whatever. And that's that she comes from a cult that took her in when she was younger after her house burned down, and she was the only one that was left alive, which I think is pretty interesting. I'll get back to that in a bit. But this cult basically gave her a new life, and then she pretty much left the cult for whatever reason. We still don't know the exact reasons. And she went to find the Turners because she was kind of like obsessed with Dorothy Turner, because she actually interviewed her when she was younger, and she was always watching her news stories every night. So pretty much Dorothy Turner was a hero to her, so she wanted to go and be with her, and pretty much gave her the life of Jericho back, as Aunt May sort of puts it, as well as Uncle George. She is there to please the people she loves, but the people she hates she will hurt. So I thought that was interesting there. So it's leaning more towards supernatural in my opinion here. So yeah, Aunt May, Uncle George want her to come back. They tell her why she with the Turners, because the Turners are bad people, and God obviously wants them to suffer. And I think that that's a pretty interesting point they're making as well, is why is Leanne helping people she doesn't even know? But then again, why is Leanne even with them as well? I'm talking about Aunt May and Uncle George. So Dorothy is like, Aunt May looks familiar, but I don't know where she looks familiar, like from where. So by the end of this whole episode, we see Jericho's baptism, we learn Leanne's backstory, Aunt May, Uncle George leave. Julian actually tells Roscoe to stay behind and keep an eye on the house because he's not sure what's going to go down. And we are pretty much now in the last 5 minutes of the episode, just waiting to see what's going to happen. And what ends up happening is we see Roscoe get ambushed by Aunt May and Uncle George. Not sure what exactly happens to him. Did he get hurt? Did he get killed? Or what happened? We see Dorothy starts to realize that she knows where she saw Aunt May before, and that's actually when she was covering a story about a cult. And that cult was having a stand-up with the police where we see a big explosion and a lot of gunshots, and Dorothy's just like, oh my goodness, that cult leader was in here, and she knows Leanne. Leanne was probably part of that cult. She runs to find Leanne. Leanne is bolted out of that house. We see Leanne leave with all of her stuff, and then Dorothy's like, wait, Jericho. She runs up the room. Bam. Jericho's gone. We just have the doll left, and Dorothy's just like, what the fuck? And we see her sort of go into an episode before it cuts. So what we see also is Leanne go with all of the cult people. And some of the cult people look familiar because we've seen them around the house many times going all over. So pretty much we can be assured that they have been staking out the house and trying to see exactly what's going on, because Leanne is of some high importance, and I think that's because she has the supernatural or holy abilities. As she has brought Jericho back, I think she definitely is someone who was giving them these miracles of sorts, and they see her as a saint, maybe sort of as a, I would say, reborn, what is the word I'm looking for? I want to say like the second coming of Christ, sort of. They're looking at her, and I think that that's a pretty interesting aspect about it, is they feel like, why are these people getting to relish with everything she's doing when they're not even like holy or whatever you want to call it, right? So that's pretty much where the season ends right there. So we have Jericho, a doll again. Leanne has left with the cult, and we're not sure exactly where the Turners are going to go now. So I thought that that ending was pretty good, I guess. That's exactly what I was thinking was going to happen. Maybe half of the questions answered, but the other half up in the air, and a couple more questions also coming. And I'm excited to see where this show goes. I hear it's supposed to be 5 seasons long, so 4 more seasons to tell a story. I could definitely see them wrapping it up, and I'm excited to see what happens. I'm going to make a video with season 2 theories, but pretty much what I think happens, well, the ending of this show is Leanne does have a supernatural ability, whatever that is, whether it's a one ability or many, she has that. I think the cult knows she is very powerful, and they don't want her to just waste her power, I guess you could say, with the Turners. I think Dorothy has realized what exactly was going on, and I think that Sean is pretty much now in the worst shape ever. Like, we're always seeing Sean be the level-headed person here, trying to figure out what's going on. But I think the Uncle George, the whole Leanne thing, just left him in a state of, like, I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore. So, I think that this cult definitely is going to be a big part of Season 2, finding more about it and knowing exactly what Leanne's powers are. And I don't think that it's reality-based at all anymore after the end right there, because we saw everybody interacting with the baby. We saw them like at the baptism. So it's safe to say that the doll was never there at a point. But yeah, it was a great show, great ending. M. Night Shyamalan really delivered on this one. I can't wait to see exactly where he takes this whole series, because my goodness, I do not even have a clue where to go from here. But I will be making a video on some theories I have about it as well. But what are your thoughts on the ending to Servant? What do you think is going to happen in Season 2? I'll be making a video on Season 2 theories, so if you want that, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. Let's get to 10,000 subscribers. We can get there together. And I'm just ready for it. I'm ready to see where this goes. Season 2 theories will come out probably, I would say, maybe tomorrow. But yeah, we have a couple more videos coming out as well on some new movies that got announced tomorrow, so make sure you tune in for that. But yeah, your thoughts on Servant. Season 2 will probably come sometime around like December, I guess, as we got Servant around November. So I hope, I just want the whole series already. I really want to know all these answers, and I think that they did a great job by leaving us with this cliffhanger. But it still hurts, man. It still hurts. Anyways, as always, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. You can follow me on Twitter at NerdRound for more post updates right away as soon as they happen. We talk news, we talk movies, TV shows. Music is talked, but that's on my Anchor, which you can find below as well. So go listen to me over there. Follow me there. I just did a little Anchor on the Eminem album. I'll be talking about the Mac Miller, the Halsey album as well. So yeah, if you want all of that, make sure you go follow me over there. And yeah, Servant, best show on Apple TV. I could definitely say so. I'm gonna be checking out the other shows on there as well, such as the morning show, and I'm just pumped. I'm pumped to see what Apple TV brings to the table next, because I think if Servant is any indication of the quality, man oh man, Apple is going to reign supreme. Anyways, I'll see y'all next time. Stay positive.